Good morning, welcome to a morning review on what is being termed as Super Tuesday. I'll explain why in a moment. Okay, let's have a look at the euro dollar first. And as you can see, currently the euro, still from a daily perspective, has been making new lows. Yesterday made yet another new near-term low. However, through the Asian session, we've seen a bit of a pop up. We've still got the weekly pivot untouched above us and may still be a target. We've also got the new monthly target, which is target pivot. Well, will become a target, which is also quite a chunk above us. So if we do start seeing this market sort of breaking this trend line, it sits across the top of these highs really. Across here, if we start seeing that break, and if it can manage to get through its daily 8 moving average, well, that seems like, along with that nice daily 21, it looks very much like a great target at some point. But for now, chopping along. 60-minute time frame. When you look at this time frame, you can see yesterday the chop that we went through. Very difficult market to trade in when it's like this, so best not to. Obviously, there's opportunities within this, but they're just not prolonged opportunities. So the opportunities to take the profit. Now, where we're sitting at the moment, then we've already hit the daily pivot. We've hit the R1. Well, there's a possibility, a slim possibility, that we could push on up towards the R2 and the weekly pivot. At the moment, from what I can see here, it looks choppy and it may continue chopping. So that's the euro dollar. Pound dollar yesterday put in quite a strong hammer. I mentioned yesterday in the update about the 1.5 area being key. May just pierce it. It certainly did just pierce it. It's now putting in a pivot swing. Of course, today isn't finished yet, and at the moment though we've just run into the daily 8. Now, Super Tuesday. Why Super Tuesday? Well, we've got the best bank stress tests results. That was out at 7 o'clock. And then we've got the Bank of England Governor Carney speaking at 9 o'clock. And we may see some volatilities around his speech. At 9:30, then we've got the manufacturing PMI figures that come out following that. So there's a bit of data for the UK this morning. Most important part of that is the Bank of England Governor's speech. So as I say, that's at 9 o'clock. And that speech is really based on the financial stability report, and whether it will actually kick in major volatility, as we've already seen the bank figures coming in all okay-ish. We'll have to wait and see, but it may be that relief sort of factor that we may see a continuation to the upside from that. Okay, so there's no other UK data coming out after 9:30, but there is some US version data coming out at 3, which again may see ISM manufacturing figures coming out at 3 o'clock. So there are a couple of numbers that may affect the UK, the pound today. 60-minute perspective. Well, we've already pushed up. We've missed a daily pivot, of course, at the moment. The only thing we'll bring it down to that is, I think, at the rate we've moved past it is Carney actually saying, well, actually it's doomed, because it's moved 50 odd points away. That if it does start breaking down back towards those areas, we've got plenty of support in the view of the 20s. So possibly more consolidation where we are here. Pivots weren't overly pinched, but they were sort of pinched in yesterday. You can see that we've been running through a few days of tighter ranges. It may just pop up and hit that R2 and beyond on a bit of news. Now it's one of those 20% days effectively potentially today. We have got the weekly, the monthly pivot sitting above us there. We've gone through the weekly now, so we've got the monthly pivot sitting up there at 151.82. Okay. As mentioned already, it would be a nice target with the euro. It would also be a nice target with the pound. Dollar yen, chop. It's still in its chopping phase, really here, consolidation phase range. It's not moved out of that from a daily perspective. Has got the monthly pivot below us, which if we do see any strengthening of the yen itself against the dollar, we could see it coming back towards those levels. Short term, we saw some overnight strengthening. It's already gone through the daily pivot and hit the S1 area. Um, prediction there in terms of where we're seeing here is possibly more of the same chop. Little bit done for me there. Now the Aussie dollar, bright young thing. Okay, nice pivot swing sort of pattern setting up from the dailies. Of course, today's not finished yet, but nice support found into the last month's pivot now as it is, and pushed off from that pretty well. From a 4 hour perspective, we saw the pivot swing came kicking in, the weekly pivot hit all of a sudden, and off it ran. And it's been running through the evening, through the Asian session well, on the basis of interest rates not being touched, and that's probably a less negative statement coming through with it. So we've run back up to double tops here. There's potential for it to push up towards that sort of area again as we're sitting in this sort of pattern at the moment. But again, a bit like cable, it's already had such a move this morning. Yes, it's got potential at some point of coming down towards its daily pivot, but it may, again, with that news action, really, it may be one of those 20% days where we do get up towards the S2. Canadian dollar. Well, firstly, should we have a quick look at oil and see what's going on in oil? Let's bring it to the dailies. The oil price is still slipping back a little bit. Yesterday it did have a momentary rally, but fell back quite quickly. But most likely we're going to see with the comments made last week, I believe it was, we'll probably see oil consolidating around these sort of levels more so. Has got its monthly pivot above, so any sort of rallies could see it pushing up that, which in turn would see the Canadian dollar moving back down again, strengthening back down towards its monthly pivot, which is below now. It's certainly a possibility there. From a 60-minute point of view, I've sort of drawn on this. It's not quite hit its daily pivot yet today. Would prefer to see that hit, but if it does start breaking down more aggressively here, the S1 certainly could be on. And even the monthly pivot on some of the days, the way it moves, is a possibility. There is Canadian data news out later on as a GDP figure, which is a monthly figure for Canada, so it has less volatility. That could kick in later. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Nothing else to mention at the moment, so hope you have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.